Start now.
Greetings, I'm Bishop Bill Franklin, the Bishop of Western New York, and I'm so happy to be speaking to the people of Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan as you prayerfully consider your future. I'm both happy and wistful at the moment. I'm going to retire as our bishop in April of 2019, and so I'm wistful about that. But I'm so excited that our two dioceses, Western New York and Northwestern Pennsylvania, have done something that no other diocese has ever done in the Episcopal Church. Facing the challenges of this moment, we've done this new thing of having one bishop and one staff to serve two dioceses. I'm wistful because I believe the process of making this decision over 14 months and the hopes for the future have unleashed a new sense of freedom and purpose in my diocese. But I'm joyful and happy because I think we have been leaders about a future way that the church can be organized. We can no longer do things the same. And having one bishop serving two dioceses, one staff serving two dioceses, opens up all sorts of possibilities for the future. I invite you to prayerfully consider how you can follow this example and decide if you would like to go in the same way. And now to explain how this new future will happen, I turn it over to my colleague and friend, Bishop Sean Rowe.
Greetings to everyone in Eastern and Western Michigan. So glad that I could be with you on this occasion as you consider your future together. The Episcopal Church finds itself in quite a challenging time. Really, all of American Christianity does in some ways. We know what our goal is, the fullness of the kingdom of God, but getting there, well, it's a bit of a challenge. It's always been a challenge, but particularly in this time, the old ways, the things that used to work and used to give us a great return, don't quite work the way that they did before. We're called now in this time particularly to learn new ways, to learn new skills, new ways of being together, new ways of being church. Some of us like to call this an adaptive moment. This adaptive moment can be confusing. It can also be a time of adventure, of experimentation, and it's nothing new. It's not new to the 21st century for sure. I think of our ancestors, the Israelites, who found their way out of bondage and slavery in Egypt to the Promised Land. And that journey from a place of bondage to a place of freedom was just that. It was a journey. It was a journey that took 40 years. And we all know the old jokes about Moses not being willing to ask for directions. That's why it took 40 years. And we all know the piece of real estate isn't that big. But really, the reason it took so long to get from point A to point B, from one place to another, was, well, they still weren't exactly sure how to do it. They had to learn entirely new ways of being, entirely new ways of being in relationship with God and with each other, and they made some mistakes along the way. Remember the whole golden calf debacle? Moses went up the mountain. They had this incredible experience of the presence of God and had a moment where they could have been extraordinarily creative, and what did they do? Well, they built a golden calf. What a debacle that was. Moses was upset. God was none too pleased. And yet they moved from that place of failure. God gave them several more tries along the way, if you remember correctly. And they went from casting this golden calf that was something from the past to building the tabernacle, which took everyone's gifts. The gifts of all the people gathered were able to contribute to build this place that would be the very dwelling place for God. These are the kinds of times we're called to now, the kind of ways of being that we're called to in our own time. We're called to, as the sages said about the Israelites when they finally built the tabernacle, to throw off all forms of Egypt, to do this new and creative thing. In the Diocese of Northwestern Pennsylvania and the Diocese of Western New York, we're doing just that. We're engaging in an experiment that really hasn't happened before. We believe that in this time and in this time of experimentation, we'll have new conversation partners. We'll be able to address the justice issues of our world in deeper and more profound ways. We'll be able to actually build scale and reach more people and make a greater impact for the gospel. We might even be able to plant more churches in different ways, like the very church that I'm standing in now. The resources that we'll be able to pull together because of our willingness to take on this experiment will allow us to engage mission in new ways and try new things. And I'm excited that the dioceses of Eastern and Western Michigan are going to consider this journey as well. And so I thank you, and you have our prayers and best wishes in this time.